Our next presenter is Elaine Hsiao, who is an interdisciplinary scholar specializing in environmental peacebuilding, transboundary conservation, and Indigenous community conservation and development. She is the Global Challenges Fellow at the Sheffield Institute for International Development, an honorary research fellow at the University of Rwanda Center of Excellence in Biodiversity and Natural Resource Management, an affiliate of the Biodiversity and Security Research Project. She bridges academia and practice in her leadership of the IUCN CEESP theme on environment and peace, its task force on migration, environmental change and conflict, and is an honorary member of the ICCA consortium. Elaine holds a PhD in resource management and environmental studies from the University of British Columbia, and has founded various initiatives, co-produced a documentary film, and works with nonprofit organizations worldwide.
Thanks so much, Sean, and thanks also to all the other presenters for sharing such fascinating work. I think I'm probably the least kind of peace research credited person here. My background, as you guys have all heard, is very much centered on environmental conservation, natural resources, communities, and development. So some of the kind of perspectives that I'm going to put forward are going to be really just sort of centered on what I see that I think is interesting and fascinating that's emerging out of environment and peace research. I'm going to see if I can work the slides. I think that some of the formatting didn't come through. Yeah, the PowerPoint is a little bit corrupted maybe, but you guys hopefully will get the point. There's a little caption there that says environment and conflict. So, this is me sort of trying to bucket what I think are some of the different areas of environment and conflict and peace research that exist today. We had a lot of the early work that was looking at resource conflicts and how people were fighting over natural resources. And, this was often about environmental distribution. It was about justice and injustice around the benefits and costs of either resource access or resource benefits, resource scarcity, resource abundance, etc. And then, then there was the work around conflict resources that were becoming an active part of armed conflicts in different parts of the world. And then we started to think about conflict environments, so where environmental protection and conservation is happening in places of violence or armed conflict, and then also looking at conservation itself as a conflict environment. Conservation, in many cases, being a very colonial project that has involved a lot of violence against people and human rights abuses, and so the social conflicts that are emerging out of conservation projects and initiatives. And then, looking at conservation coming out of its, a mentality of endangerment and threat and crisis. And so its turn also to use certain mechanisms of violence as a result of that. So, in order to protect highly endangered species in highly dangerous environments, you need to have armed rangers, fences, ways to exclude people, and all of that. And then out of that, we have, work in conservation, looking at human and non-human conflicts, so conflicts between species, the human and wildlife conflicts. And then on the peace side, we have people looking at environmental peace building. How do we take these spaces of conflict and turn them into spaces of cooperation, and develop habits of cooperation that can either prevent conflicts, resolve them, transform them post-conflict, and all of that. With some of the, didn't come out so well, but I think I want to thank Rena for your intervention early on to bring us our attention to who are the people involved in this research. These are some of your early environment and security and peace thinkers. We had Robert Kaplan, Arthur Westing, Lester Brown, Thomas Homer Dixon, many, many names, but they were all, as you guys can see, white men. And so one of the things that, at that time they were calling on the security and peace and conflict world to kind of redefine all of those terms and bring nature into that conversation and the environment and the natural resources into that conversation. But now I can see that, all of that research is being asked to redefine itself as well. And I think this is coming up because of all of the things that I think Kevin has identified and Rena and as well. And I don't think you can read what's in it, but a lot of this has to do with the emerging, the intersectionalities with all of the critical studies, security, the critical peace, the critical race and critical feminist studies, and how that's influencing environment and peace research too. We had people start to raise the issues around women, that were often being portrayed as victims of environmental conflicts or resource conflicts. And instead they were saying, no, we need to think about and look at women as agents of peace, and that there are, specific knowledges and relationships to natural resources that they carry, that make them a unique actor in peace processes. And then we had also, the interventions coming from the world of political ecology, looking at where the power and money sits in these things, and looking at the militarization of environmental protection. So if we're saying that, environmental well-being is what brings around environmental security and human security and peace, then why are the mechanisms of conservation so violent? And how do we look at that? And then, of course, also, conservation, as I mentioned earlier, was considered a very colonial pursuit. And so, the decolonization of conservation, and as an extension, the decolonization of environmental peace building. And then an area that I kind of am following a little bit of maybe my own interest is, if we are talking about the decolonization of environmental peace building, and it's to do with, and part of that process is diversification of the people and the voices and the perspectives within that field. Will we start to see some of those, oftentimes related to maybe the indigenous perspectives, right? Are the more than human understandings of the world, and then in that case, is peace not just about human to human relationships, but the more than human. And then I think what's been happening too in the environmental peace building world is that they've been trying to do a lot of looking at cases on the ground of learning from what's happened, and trying to actually extract something out of that, just to evolve the field. And there's actually a group now working on a white paper looking at the future sort of pathways for environmental peace building, and I think that's coming out of that sort of years of learning, and hopefully learning something interesting. Sorry, losing my mouse. Yeah, you can't see, okay, you kind of see the photo there. This is just to give an example, right? This is something that maybe we wouldn't have thought looked like environmental peace building before. The early reports in environmental peace building was blue helmets, UN forces on the ground, how do we green the blue helmets, right? And now this is what we can look at as environmental peace building. These are women who lead a community forest in Nepal. And there was a study out of Nepal that looked at how the community managed forests were more resilient to the Maoist takeovers during the civil conflicts. And this has a lot to do with, communities being able to come together. They have those habits of cooperation, working together. They know how to protect themselves and their resources. Yeah. And this slide, it shows up, I think, just some resources to delve into for those who maybe are interested in learning more. There's a great library that's part of the Environmental Peace Building Association, and a paper that's been posted to there looking at kind of the past and future trends in environmental peace building, and then my own contact information. So yeah, thanks again for bringing me into this panel. I look forward to talking with all of you more about this.